In both academic and public debates, the Middle East and North Africa, or the MENA region, is not a place that is generally discussed in relation to issues of social welfare, development, or social justice. Rather, it is a region that normally grabs the headlines for such issues as political Islam, terrorism, gender inequality, or the supply of petroleum oil. This is a region of problems, not solutions. 2/3 of the MENA populations are without any form of formal social security. The region has the highest rate of unemployment, particularly youth unemployment, in the world. Although poverty rates are below world averages, they have remained unchanged for the last couple of decades, reflecting the rising rates of socio-economic inequalities in the MENA region. Yet the 2002 Arab Human Development Report described the MENA region as being more rich than it is developed. Some countries, like Qatar, enjoying the highest GDP per capita in the world, while others, like Yemen, have some of the lowest. Support for free market enterprise is very healthy here and dominated by a political and business elite, which has helped to perpetuate relations of patronage and clientelism between those who are poor and those who are rich. Yet, questions of poverty and social justice were made urgent by the popular revolts of the so-called Arab Spring. Indeed, bread and dignity became the hallmark words of the revolutions that began in Tunisia in 2011. In contrast, very little academic research has considered the welfare systems of the MENA region. How do local populations understand issues of social justice and social deprivation? Who feels the sense of responsibility to act in the public sphere and help those in need? What are the formal systems of social assistance and social security that the governments of the region have in place for their populations? Are there any forms of spontaneous social activism that help to promote social solidarity and civic association in this region? What is the role of religion in fostering notions of altruism and social welfare provision? My research began in Lebanon in 2000. A country hostage to sporadic and violent civil war, Lebanon has nevertheless maintained a meagre skeleton of welfare system made up of formal social security for public sector workers, employment-based social insurance for private sector workers, state schools and public-private partnerships in healthcare, and a network of mostly religious welfare organizations offering social care and emergency relief assistance. My research has expanded over the years thanks to an ESRC grant to cover the rest of the MENA region with particular focus on Turkey and Iran. This comparative perspective helps to map out the institutional configuration of social welfare provision in the MENA region in all its diversity.
Turkey could be studied as a part of the Middle East. Trying not to come out with a kind of an similarity type of typology, but trying to show how the historical legacy and how the historical trajectories have shaped the formation, and at the same time how the societal dynamics have evolved apparently in the contemporary period. The AKP government, the current government that has been in power since 2002, seems to be prioritizing the issues of poverty and social policy and social assistance in general. And they are trying to advocate for expanding, for instance, the resources that are allocated to the social assistance. They have put on board the reform in social assistance, and they have put on board restructuring the social assistance system in general. But this restructuring does not call for a rights-based perspective. The civil society organizations that I'm trying to explore in detail in this research do have board of directors, and these board of directors, or the founders of these institutions, these civil society organizations, are mostly the businessmen, the very well-known businessmen. So there is a very close connection.
So what might social policy look like in the MENA region, and what are the factors that need to be addressed? The first of these has to be how important social rights and citizenship are.
لا يتم التعاطي مع المواطنين بصفتهم أصحاب حقوق على المجتمع وعلى الدولة بشكل عام، وبالتالي تصبح فكرة تقديم الخدمات الاجتماعية هي فكرة يعني من قبيل المنة والترفيه أو من قبيل اللكجري. يعني الملف الاجتماعي هو دائما ملف ملحق بخيارات اقتصادية أو بخيارات سياسية. أواخر الثمانينات والتسعينات ساد وراج نمط فكري أنه بالآخر التحرير الاقتصادي واقتصاد السوق، وبالتالي تحقيق معدلات نمو اقتصادية عالية يؤدي إلى تحسين الظروف المعيشية للمواطنين، وبالتالي صار مفهوم العدالة الاجتماعية تابع للاقتصادي وبالتالي النمو الاقتصادي. وطبعا بعد 20 سنة وأكثر من تطبيق هذا المفهوم تبين أنه مفهوم غلط. العدالة الاجتماعية تحتاج إلى سياسات اجتماعية مخصصة لها. بعد ما أدركنا أنه لا، الواقع الاجتماعي ليس بالضرورة ناتج عن النمو الاقتصادي، صار في اهتمام أكثر بالجانب الاجتماعي، ولكن أيضا بشكل منقوص، لأنه كذلك وبالتالي صارت هلأ السياسات الاجتماعية سياسات تستهدف فئات معينة ولا تستهدف المجتمع ككل. وبالتالي منشوف نحن الموضوع الأول هو أنه هذه الثورات يجب أن تستمر وأن لا تكتفي بمجرد تغيير نظام. علينا أن نغير السلطة والنظام، وبالتالي بناء دولة جديدة مدنية ديمقراطية قائمة على دستور. الموضوع الثاني والأساسي هو الدساتير يجب أن تقوم على أساس احترام حقوق الإنسان، يعني مشاركة المجتمع المدني بقوة من خلال آليات للمشاركة فاعلة.
So where do we go from here? Important findings are already emerging from the research we are conducting, which will not only help to improve understanding of how welfare services operate in the MENA region, but also highlight the priority areas for the development and consolidation of social policy. Key among these are the identification of a basic social vision for MENA populations, which develops human capacities and the economic base of MENA countries, but also supports a taxation-based system of redistribution that ensures that all citizens and residents there have access to a basic minimum income, as well as essential health and education services. The research will therefore provide important policy implications for the current interest in social protection policies and unconditional cash transfers, which is being promoted by development agencies like the World Bank and DFID in the MENA region. This growing policy emphasis on unconditional cash transfer programs risks diluting social policy goals in the region to short-term consumption smoothing. Our research shows that although MENA countries are unlikely to establish universal welfare states of the sort that has existed in Northern European countries, they nevertheless need to think about social protection in ways that look beyond short-term social safety nets and employment-based social security. Social policy in the MENA countries needs to promote such issues as social cohesion, social solidarity, the social contract, but nevertheless in ways that are appropriate to their local, cultural and social contexts. And this is because social reform requires some kind of political reform as well, and this will be inevitable in the MENA region. So it is important for these countries to include all aspects of their societies, both from the state and non-state sector, in the social policy endeavour, bearing in mind that there are examples and evidence of civic association and quite focused social welfare action in a variety of sectors. So our research provides evidence that, for example, religious welfare organizations must not be excluded from a broader dialogue about social action and social welfare, but that possibly within a broader partnership focused on the common good, it may be possible to establish more long-term and sustainable and effective systems of social policy in the MENA region.